Good morning and welcome back. It has been quite some time since I have filmed a video, and I really don't have any good excuses for why I haven't uploaded a video recently. But I am here this morning to show you what I have been eating for breakfast. Usually I have fruit every single morning, whether I'm working or I am off from work. But today is Sunday, so I am off from work. I am also off from work on Wednesdays. And so I also have a breakfast that is very similar to the one that I am about to prepare for you. So I'm going to angle this down so you can see what I have here and maybe bring you a little bit closer in. So I have 1 orange honeydew melon, 3 ripe mangoes, and 5 kiwi fruit. So typically when I eat my fruit, a lot of times I will only just eat 1 fruit, but I will eat a lot of it. So it's nothing for me to cut into this and eat the entire melon. Some people think that's a lot. It's not really, not for me anyway, but I do want to consume all of this before the late afternoon today. I have not had anything to eat as of yet. I have only just had a fair amount of water to hydrate myself after I, upon rising this morning. So kiwi, mango, and orange honeydew. Sometimes if I can get my hands on a good watermelon, it will be watermelon that I will consume. I love cantaloupe melon, and recently we've had sugar kiss melon at work in the produce department, and it has been incredibly sweet. It's like candy. A lot of times too, the orange honeydew is also very, very sweet. So I am going to initially cut into the orange honeydew first, and I'll get started on that. But I think to save on time and you having to hear my voice throughout this video, I'm going to film it in hyperlapse, and so that will speed things along, and then we'll go back to normal speed at the end of the video. But just to show you what it is that I have to do all of this with, I have the cutting board. This is not my cutting board, this is my roommate's. It is the least used, and it is the only one that is used for fruits and vegetables. There is another one that I'm looking at that I would not use for this because poultry has been cut on that, and I do not want to, even though it's very clean, I don't really want to take any chances with that. So cutting board, I have a large, like, chef's knife. And we have a smaller knife. It's not a paring knife, but it's like the next size up from a paring knife. And then an ice cream scoop. So the other thing I have too is in the sink here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. I do have a plastic bag. And what we do with the plastic bag is anytime we have food waste, whether it's animal waste, which I don't consume animal products. However, my roommate does, with like chicken and so on, fish. We freeze the scraps, the trash scraps, and then once it's frozen, we take it out. Unfortunately, we do not have a compost setup where we live out back. It would be really great, because with the amount of fruit scraps that I accumulate in a week, it's really quite a shame that we don't. But someone may make a comment about that. But anyway, it's all going in this bag, and then it will be frozen, and I'll take it out later this afternoon to the trash. So I will angle you down this way. Not sure how good this is going to be for viewing, and maybe move the stand down a little bit. So after having been a fruit cutter for many years, there are different ways that you can cut into a melon, but if you're just cutting it for yourself and you're not making like really nice like U-shaped slices, you can just go ahead and cut it this way. You can also cut it lengthwise and then into individual slices after that, but this doesn't need to be pretty this morning. It's just my breakfast. Okay, so anyway, so I just go ahead and cut right into that, right down the middle. Oh, the skin's peeling right off of it. So this one is very ripe, which is perfectly fine because I want it to be sweet. It needs to have a lot of its natural sugar available. So then I just take the scoop and scoop out the center. So it's all of the seeds and the pulp that we're not going to consume. So there we go. Two ready to go halves of an orange honeydew, and the way that I tend to, and I think what I'll do is before I go into hyperlapse, I will show you how I get each one started in terms of cutting. So with the honeydew, I just lay it on its flat edge, and then of course you'll have to be careful, but I do use the larger knife to start with at least one initial cut. And then I just go around and around and around. So this is how I cut that, and then once you're done, you can just go across the top here, remove the top, and then cut into chunks. Well, here, you know what, maybe we'll just do this first one for demonstration. So I can show you how I cut into a melon and make bite-sized pieces for myself. My roommate does not like melon except watermelon. He doesn't like any of the honeydews or the cantaloupe variations at all, so more for me. All right, so now we've got this top. I take my other hand and very, very carefully cut the smallest amount off that removes the top. Then you've got this kind of almost like an octagonal dome here, and then right across the bottom I make a ring and then another ring. So this is what you should have. You should have, depending on the size of the melon, you could have 4, but this is what we have. And then I just into, you know, bite-sized pieces. That's quite good. All right, so that's how we get the melon started. As for mango, I moved to my smaller knife, and I'm gonna try to angle this over here. And I just find a good place to start. And I just cut a little divot in here, like so. I don't know if you can see that if I'm too close. I just make an initial cut, and then I cut along this way. Now let's pretend all the skin is off. So then I'm just, here, let me take one more piece of skin off here. Then I just go around, and you can get, it actually will yield more than you think in the way of fruit to eat. That's quite good too. But I just go around and around and around and around and cut pieces, chunks of, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just chunks of mango. And you can put it into containers or whatever you have available to hold your fruit. I'm gonna attack most of this and try to eat as much of it as I can after I get it all prepared. And so here we are with kiwi. I stay with the small knife. Okay. Let me angle you down. So I just take it on its side, doesn't matter which, and I cut one end off, and then another end. That goes into the bag. So here we are. And similar concept to the mango, you want to just take just the skin off so that you're left with flesh. Sweet, juicy flesh. And it's up to you if you want to refrigerate your fruit before you cut into it. That's more of a preference that you may have, to refrigerate your fruit ahead of time. And then you can slice a kiwi any way that you want to. You can just make slices, or you can, I have it standing up, cut it in half, and then a half again. So you've got quarter pieces like that. And then I just make little pieces from that quarter. So into the jar it goes. All right, so I will be back shortly. I'm going to put this in hyperlapse, and I'll go to town on cutting up my fruit, and I'll be back when it's all finished. All right, see you soon. Finished cutting up all of my fruit. I only did 2 of the mangoes in hyperlapse, and then after I shut the video off completely, I finished cutting up the 3rd one. I just sort of felt like it was taking a little bit of time, and it also was not as ripe as I was hoping. It was quite soft, but not as ripe. So anyway, it's all been cut up, and here it is. That's all of it. So that one orange honeydew yielded 2 containers here of melon, 3 mango, and 5 kiwi right here. So I've also, you can't see them, but I've got some ants on the counter, not many, but we do have a little bit of an ant problem right now because the palm trees outside are, they're touching the house. So the ants are coming, but I did wipe everything down, so I don't know what will be left for them to munch on. But here is my bag of fruit trimmings. So that's going to go in the freezer, and I will take that out to the trash tomorrow, and or later this afternoon, we'll see. But I am going to try to consume as much of this as possible. The kiwi will be gone for certain because there's really not that much here. Also, I would say at the very least, when I go to sit down, I will probably eat half of the mango, maybe 3/4, all of the kiwi, and all of this. And so maybe later in the afternoon, I'll have the rest of this and the other half of the mango. In terms of cost, the mangoes were 3 for $5, so I picked up 3. The kiwi were 5 for $5, so I had 5. And the honeydew melon was, the orange honeydew was, I think it was $4.99, so just about $5. So all of this is $15 worth of fruit, and although it might seem expensive, if you buy pre-packaged, already cut up fruit, you're paying only for that convenience. And yes, it is a lot more convenient to have someone else prepare and cut your fruit and vegetables for you, but it is less expensive to buy a whole melon. When you look at what this might cost cut up in a container, it might be $4 or $5.99 a pound, when you could just buy the whole melon and do it yourself. But I do understand that time is an issue for people, and some people just really don't like getting their hands wet and sticky, and I don't want to do it. I want somebody else to do it, and I'll gladly pay for it, and that's fine. For me, I'd rather just do it myself. When I'm at work and I need fruit, I will go and buy a prepackaged small container of cut up melon, but you know, that's only if I just didn't have any to bring to work with me. So this is what I'm going to eat now, and I do have a couple of videos that I've already filmed. I just haven't gotten around to uploading them quite yet, and I may actually try to refilm them and have them be a little fresher and updated, and I'm going to try to get back on a little bit more of a regular filming and uploading schedule. So my apologies. Like I said, I don't have any good excuses to give. I just don't at this point. So thank you for tuning in. If you watched this to the end, thank you very much. Consider liking this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, survive your life. I'm doing it, and I know that you can do it too. Life isn't always that easy. Sometimes it throws us a lot of challenges and curveballs, but hopefully those instances and moments help to strengthen us a bit. All right, take care. Thank you. All right, bye.